and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call of members.
Dr. Malloy,
Here.
Mr. Mignon,
Here.
Mr. Hoff, Mr. Greenwood, Mrs. Irwin Adams, Mr. Johnston, Mr. Francis, Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. Cook.
Okay, we now have a number of special presentations.
Good evening. Tonight we have several presentations. This is always our favorite time of the year when we get to recognize some student accomplishments as well as some of our instructors. Before we do that, I hope everybody takes an opportunity, if you're here throughout the rest of the meeting, as you'll notice around this room is the artwork that was displayed this past week, or last week, I guess it was. This was a premiere of the school district's art show, K-12. Since we no longer have the Blair County Arts Festival, the art instructors wanted to reintroduce that and are hoping to grow on it each year. So take us some time. We have some tremendous art talent within this district. And I can honestly say, I believe that the arts are still alive here in Altoona. So with that being said, our first presentation today is our special education instructor, Michelle Anderson. I'm going to invite Michelle to come up. I'm also going to invite Lori Mangan to come and introduce Michelle. Michelle received the Dr. John Powers Outstanding Educator Award from State University recently. So Lori will, no. Sorry. Different Michelle.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity and for giving us the ability to recognize Michelle. Michelle has been working at the junior high school for quite some time, over 30 years, total of 30 years. Michelle and I have worked together for over 20. And I've worked with a lot of educators, a lot of great educators over the years. And Michelle is one of those folks that just is quietly doing her job, works with students, it makes relationships, which we know is a very important part of that. And I watch the former students of hers come back, as well as parents who return, and just thank her for what they've done, what she's done, either for their child or for them. And they have been lifelong connections that she's made with some of her former students. And I marvel at the fact that she is able to be firm but fair with them and very compassionate. And it's an honor to introduce her and for her to be able to receive this award. So congratulations, Michelle.
Next, we'd like to introduce our students that participated in the 2023 Future Business Leaders of America Conference. And to do that and explain to you their accomplishments is our advisor, Chris King.
Thank you. So Future Business Leaders of America has evolved over the years, and there's some traditional categories left, like accounting and business law, and Warren Leberfinger didn't make it tonight, but I also wanted to mention his name because to make it to states like these gentlemen behind me did is an achievement in itself, because they have to compete regionally first, and then if they place in usually the top 3 of their category, they get to move on. And then they test against everybody that made it to the state competition from the other school districts. And it was quite an event this year. It was the second highest state leadership conference that they've ever had on record. Pennsylvania, there were over 5,000 students representing the state, and Warren made the top 10. And when you get a student in the top 10, get them on stage, and then they, the Giant Center was filled up and the music's playing, people get excited. And so Warren finished 7th place in business law. So I wanted to mention that. And, business has evolved, and a lot of technology is involved in any successful business. So my programmers in the background here, we have Owen Baylog, Patrick Webster, and Tyler Haupt. They teamed up and performed in an event called Computer Game and Simulation Programming. And this year's theme was to kind of inspired by Wordle. I don't know if you guys play Wordle every morning, but it was basically they had like one prompt, make an app that uses words somehow. So they sort of took some inspiration from Tetris and Scrabble and worked hard throughout the year and submitted their application called Walks. And so it's going to be available on the App Store pretty soon for purchase. But to make it to states, they had to submit ahead of time, and the top 15 teams or individuals from the state were invited to present, and they're sharply dressed. This is how they looked at the competition, and they did very well, and they finished 4th, which, 4th in the state. Actually, Tyler finished 1st in the state last year. I don't know if we got to mention that, but he in coding and programming, he also. So Tyler got to go to Chicago last year, and this year the team's going to go to Atlanta and represent Altoona. So we just want to thank you for your continued support, school board administration. Really thank you. Congratulations. Patrick. Great job. Thank you. Next time. Thank you.
Next, we have our all-state musicians. Larry, unfortunately, Mr. Detweiler, Kelly Detweiler, and Kelly Sipes were unable to be here tonight because of other commitments. So probably won't do as well as Larry does, but I'll try my best. Each year, thousands of high school musicians across the state audition in their geographic area. Individually, students perform for a panel of judges. Student musicians who rank the highest advance to compete against student musicians from other parts of PMEA regions. The highest ranking student musicians at the PMEA region level qualify to perform in one of 6 Pennsylvania all-state music ensembles. So this is the highest level of achievement these musicians can earn. And we have with us today, I'm going to call your name if you come up here and just stand in here, and Dr. Malloy and Dr. Priatel, we have a small gift for you. So we have Seth Goheen, a sophomore, and he is Barry Sachs, and he is all-state band. We're going to have you stay up here for a photo then, okay? You can just stand here for now. Next, we have Reese Myers, a sophomore, percussion, also an all-state band. Mackenzie Kolobov, junior, trumpet, all-state band. And we have Jack Coons, a senior in piano, all-state jazz band for the 2nd year. Sarah Saylor is a junior in bass, All-State Jazz Band. Leah St. Croix, junior, All-State Choir. Jaden Palladini, junior, All-State Choir. And last but not least, we have Elena Guo, sophomore, violin, All-State Orchestra. And then we'll do a quick photo here. The taller ones in the back. We good? I forgot to mention that Sarah was also an AFME All East Orchestra. Sorry about that, Sarah. Finally, we want to recognize our student representative. This is her last meeting tonight. Caitlin Ventry. Caitlin, if you want to come up here. We want to thank you for your exceptional dedication and service to the school board. You've provided us with wonderful reports and have been a good liaison between the student body and the school board. So we appreciate that. Caitlin is going to go to Penn State University in the fall, and we've been really fortunate to have you. So thank you.
Once again, congratulations to all and did a great job. Okay, at this time, we're going to recess for a short executive session. Anybody wishing to remain for the rest of the meeting can do so, and those who wish to go home at this point can go home. Okay, thank you.
One-liner.
Okay, we'll reconvene the meeting. We did have the executive session and it was for legal issues. Normally, we have these prior to the meeting, but tonight we had the induction of students to the National Honor Society, so we wanted to attend that prior to this meeting. So we'll reconvene. Okay, and at this time, we have hearing from citizens. Anybody wish to address us, please come to the podium. Tell us your name and if you live in the school district.
Okay, my name is Brian Geiselman. I live in Fifth Avenue in Altoona. I'm actually an Altoona City Mayor candidate. So I was looking at the overall agenda for the school board, and I hope this is not true. You guys want to propose to take down amusement tax from 2% to 1.5%, but we have a proposal for next month to increase property taxes. So I think what a lot of citizens are wondering is why. So citizens here, obviously hardworking ones, veterans, senior citizens, they paid their ways. We give a lot of taxes. You take a lot, citizens don't get anything back. So I think the question at hand is that should be underlined a no for amusement tax, and property tax should be no as well. And I think what is one good thing is we get to see which Oneans vote on that next month. And with so many school board candidates, there's 10 on the ballot and 2 write-ins, it'll determine whether or not people see the real reality of this school board. I know some Ians probably will say no and some Ians will say yes. But if you say yes to increasing property tax, I don't think you're doing what's best. And these people are voting for you. That's why you're in this seat, is people believed in you to do better for this area. So I think there's a lot of questions at hand. And I don't know if you pay attention or not, and you really don't care if I'm up here speaking, or you actually do care. I know some Ians probably do and some Ians don't. And that's why I'm running, is to make this area better. And I hope that we can achieve that together, because it takes everybody: school board, city council, mayor, your commissioners. We all have to work together, whether it's in a school district, whether it's on the streets, getting your hands dirty, we all have to work together. So I hope I see that in you guys when you vote for amusement tax and so for property tax. People are suffering enough. It's ridiculous. People don't have the money for that. I understand it might be a small wage, but that small wage might be somebody's food. It might be somebody's gas. It might be their means of just surviving through the week. And I want to thank you guys very much for letting me speak today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address us?
Hello, my name's Autumn Temple. I live on North Fourth Avenue in Altoona, and I'm here to speak exactly about what he said about, over the last several years, many years before this building was built, the answer to any budget issue is raise property taxes, raise property taxes. Last month, you guys voted for a new acoustics for the band. I'm sure that had nothing to do with Dr. Pretel's love for the band on his way out. But, with your proposal of increasing property taxes, the Altoona Mayor said it was $40 and like 41 cents a year. And although that might not seem a lot to many of you guys on the school board, your position is really to support students. And many of your students are living in houses that are poverty levels. Look at your lunch statistics, the number of students that are receiving free and reduced lunch, it's pretty high. Look at Penn Lincoln School, where we're not even making the grade. That $40 in a year is a lot of money. That $4, it's like $3 and something a month. I'm not a math major, and I don't speak in public, so I'm nervous. But it's like $3 and something a month. But if you go to your Penn Lincoln families or some of your other elementary schools that have high levels of poverty and ask them on the 27th for that $3, they're looking for money to buy milk. They're looking for money to buy necessities. So, it does not add up to me and does not make sense to me that you guys would be looking at increasing property taxes. I think I wrote down 5.9%, and then decreasing amusement taxes by 0.55%. So if you have enough money in a budget to decrease an amusement tax, then don't raise the property tax by 0.55. And I would be interested in knowing if any of you guys have done the math and could tell us what's the percent that you're going to receive by the increase of property taxes versus what's the percent of money or the amount of money that you will not receive by looking at that 0.55% in amusement and in the amusement taxes. And how do they weigh one another out? Like, are they equal? Is one higher than another? None of us, many of you guys should know Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Shelter is important. A game at the ball ticket, ride on the lazy river at Del Grosso, a golf game at Lakemont. Those are the people who you're trying to save money. So to me, whenever you guys are making your votes tonight, I really think that you need to look at where is your money going and where are your priorities? Is it in shelter or is it in amusement park and fun? So thank you.
Janae Forbes. I live here in Altoona and school board candidate. So I don't know how to follow up with Autumn, but I'm going to try not to cry because I've been one of those families. Even now, I have 6 kids. I'm a nursing student, and technically I have 3 jobs. And sometimes I really can't afford to feed my 6 kids. We barely get any food stamps, and they're probably about to take that away from us. So just raising that little bit of property tax does hurt a lot. And yeah, so it's a struggle for families that are normal and not making 3 figures. And then to go off of all that, the SEAs, they're making what, 12 something an hour when they do well more than that. They can literally go to Aldi's and make 15, not even bag groceries. And like, seriously, like, can you do what they do every day? And I honestly, I really don't know what to say following up with Autumn, because that was amazing, and with what Brian said. But tomorrow is important for us school board candidates and mayor and city council and all this good stuff. It's very important to see what we stand for. Me personally, I have a Facebook page. You can see what I stand for. I know a couple of the other candidates that are here, they also have Facebook pages and websites. So tomorrow is very important. I know there's 5 seats up. And again, like, really think about do you really need to raise property taxes? Because I would personally vote no. And like what Autumn said, if you can afford to decrease the amusement tax, then you can afford not to raise property tax.
Hi, my name is Bridget Jackson. I live at 313 Grant Avenue. I have two daughters currently in the district. My oldest attends Pleasant Valley University or Pleasant Valley Elementary School. I think she's a genius, but whatever. And my youngest goes to Learning Express. I am also running for Altoona School Board. And I really feel for what you said, Autumn. I hope that you guys understand what she was saying. You know, almost a quarter of the people that live in Altoona live below the poverty guidelines. When I'm picking up my daughter from school, I see how many of those children are going home with red bags. So please take that into consideration. You know, we're talking about an amusement tax. That is a luxury that not everybody in the city can afford. A majority of people in the city can't afford because they're worrying about where their money for groceries or diapers or rent are going to come from. So, you know, when you're making those decisions, please make sure that they're part of that equation and you take that into consideration. Thank you.
It's really disrespectful to roll your eyes when people are speaking. I'm sorry.
I did not hear you.
I think it's really disrespectful for people to roll their eyes when people are speaking, if you agree or not.
Okay. All right. Moving on, item number 4, resolution of the Board of Directors. We have the GACTC budget approval and resolution. B, a tax resolution. C, the resolution to explore bond refinancing. We have those 3 items. Do we have a motion? Is there a second? We have a second. Chris seconds. Discussion.
Can we talk about B before we move on and explain this
Yes.
to the public? Yeah, I mean, B.
Okay. By law, we are only allowed to collect an amusement tax. What's the number? 49,000? $46,172 for a period of approximately 10 years. The curve was exempted from that tax because of over collection. The curve is now coming back on. At the same time, things like Lakemont Park, the escape room, and other various providers are paying amusement tax. But by law, because of the way the law was written and then rewritten by the state, we are only allowed to collect $46,000 and 46,100 and change. We have to lower the amusement tax so that we can only collect what by law we are allowed to collect. It is a small segment. I will be honest with you, we would not be recommending in any way, shape, or form that we reduce that tax, except for the fact by law we have to hold it at 46,100 and change. That's the reason that this motion or resolution is in front of the board this evening.
So that amount was established in 1997, right?
Yes.
That's the last year. So whatever we collected in 1997 as a community, that's the limit. And I only say that to point out, as you look to take these public seats, which are a few of the only unpaid seats in elected office. The people in Harrisburg who get paid, the people in your federal government who get paid, make these decisions that are imposed upon us. And we put our time in for no pay, obviously. So I looked at that and I just found it to be ridiculous. But it's what you're stuck with when you're on a school board like this. You have a lot of mandates imposed upon you by the federal government and by the state government, by people who are paid politicians, that we are left to deal with at a community level. So believe me, we are with you. We all have friends and family who feel the pain of this. But that's I wanted to be clear. That's the reasoning for this amusement tax resolution. It makes no sense if you're going to raise other taxes to reduce this tax, but that's the way it is. We have to. So if we vote yes, it's because we're legally required to.
Okay, we really, excuse me, can't interrupt us. We do have a business meeting. That's what this is. Okay, so that's the explanation for that. Any other discussion?
Just on the increase in taxes. Everything's going up in the school district, and trust me, I don't want to raise taxes. In fact, I asked the administration to go back, see if they could make some cuts, but everything's going up. We're going to be hiring security guards for the elementary. We're going to be putting in metal detectors in the elementary, and we are going to do some physical plant in the elementary that our kids are safe in the elementary school. So that's over $1 million. You think that's our society today? It's not our school board, it's our society. We have to protect your kids and my grandchildren from what's going on in this country. So that's the reason for that. So if you get elected, it's not an easy job. I'll be doing it for 30 years. And it's not easy. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're going to make decisions that upset people. So just be wishful, watch what you hope for. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay, so is there any other discussion on these three items? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item number 5 would be the approval of the regular board minutes from April 17th. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. The next one is a big item, the appointment of a superintendent. And do we have a motion on this?
So moved.
And is there a second? Okay, discussion. Who is the new superintendent? It's not a mystery, but it's Mr. Brad Hatch will be our new, if approved by the board. Okay.
The only thing I wanted to say is, all for Brad being on here, but I just wished he lived in the district. I think our most highest paid employee should be living in the district that he's running. So I hope in the future he moves to Altoona. Thanks.
Yes, if I can, Doctor, I was on the board when we hired Mr. Hatch as a teacher, and I was there when he was assistant principal, and comes from an awfully good stock. His family's awfully good, and he's shown to this board what he can do as an administrator. And God bless you. A lot of luck to you.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Dr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Francis, Mr. Hoff, Mr. Greenwood, Mrs. Irwin Adams, Mr. Johnston, Mr. Mignon,
Yes.
Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. Cook.
Yes.
0. Congratulations, Brad. You'd like to say?
Say something real quick. I just want to thank the board for their trust and their faith. Had amazing people to work with for the 27 years that I've already worked here. We have outstanding educators, we have outstanding administrators, and we have a very fruitful community. Regardless of their personal views or their political views, we all want the same thing, which is to have an outstanding opportunity for our students when they exit our doors, that they can live and have the life that they want to have. And, I'm committed to working together to make that a reality. We have issues, we have concerns that we will need to continue to work on. And I think I'm very confident that together, that everyone's motivations are in the right place. And that I know that we can have Altoona thrive and have an opportunity for our school district to provide the opportunities for our students, your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, that everyone wants. So you have my dedication, my word that we will work tirelessly to make that happen. And it won't be without bumps in the road, and it won't be without disagreement. And that will happen. But I think as long as we maintain the focus of students and we maintain the focus of what is important, we can get to that point where we're achieving and realizing what everyone wants, which is an outstanding opportunity for our students, for our community to grow, and for our city to thrive. And that is our whole point and purpose. It's what I'm passionate about. Dedicated to be a servant leader for our school district, along with our team. We have an outstanding team of people, and you will have their dedication and hard work to get to that point. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, under finance, we have quite a few items. A is the list of payments, B, the financial reports, C, the renewal of network administration agreement with IMARC, D, the renewal of Health Now administrative services as the third-party administrator of the AASD healthcare plan, E, the renewal of voluntary disability coverage with Madison National, F, an honorarium contracted services agreement, G, the Lexington Hall Station Medical Lease Agreement, H, PSBA membership renewal. Of all those items, we have a motion on those items. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I know that we've talked about this before, but can you go over again why we need the parking spots at the Station Medical Center?
Because of the fact they're buying them from us. We're not selling, we're selling it to them. They need to have so much overflow parking available. And they basically rent spaces, extra spaces from us that we, by capacity, don't necessarily need. And therefore it's profitable for the district.
So we were renting spaces from St. Mary's for our staff. And Dr. Priatel worked with the CTC, and we already pay them rent for the space that we use for some of our security staff and some of our technology staff. And the CTC is going to allow us to have our staff park in the CTC lots. So we don't need that. We are not renewing, and we've notified St. Mary's that we will not be needing those spaces. And that saves us approximately 25 to 2,500. We were down to 16 spots.
Okay, further discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, 8, policy. We have a number of policies for the final reading. Is there a motion on those items? Is there a second? Discussion.
I just want to say these policies are advertised in 2 different newspapers, open to the public. So if anybody's welcome to attend the meeting, you're more than welcome.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Education, we have dual credit agreement with Pennsylvania Highlands Community College. B, the Blair County Drug and Alcohol Program Agreement for 23-24. C, the Extended Family Programs, Inc. contract. D, the American Pennsylvania Agreement for 23-24. Do we have a motion on those sides? Excuse me. E is Hearing Officer appointment for 23-24. F is the 23-24 IUA ESL Consortium Agreement. G, Volunteer Approval. H, a doctoral study for Matthew Bilchak. I, our approval for high school counselors. J, the Pearson View GED schedule for 23-24. K, secondary field trips. L, the Pennsylvania Youth Survey permission for fall of 23. M, the REDI data collection. N, flexible instruction day application. Do we have a motion on all those items? Is there a second? Discussion. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. 10 under personnel, we have A, compensation plan correction. B, the starting salary for the HVAC supervisor. C, the creation of positions. D, the personnel agenda items. E, the naming of an acting principal. Do we have a motion on those items?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion.
Item D, the extra duty stipends. Is there a total on that? What the extra duty stipends is costing us?
Is there what?
A total amount.
I did not total it. Adam, did you?
Okay.
It's part of the teacher contract. I can get it to you in the morning.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, 11, student services. We have the student assistance program agreement for 23-24. We have the Presley Ridge agreement. Is there a motion on those items? Is there a second? Discussion. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? B, the business operations. We have A, the tax assessment appeal settlement. We have the Logan walk-in refrigerator freezer. C, we have junior high fitness equipment. D, musical instruments. E, the cooperative purchasing agreements. F, financial depositories. G, the capital reserve list of payments. H, metal detectors. I, transfer of funds. J, repository bids approval. K, repository bids rejection. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second? Discussion.
Yes, I have one. On the junior high fitness equipment, when that was requested, I went up, took a look. Lori, you're here. So that equipment is how old? 13, 15 years old? Okay, so that's original equipment, well used. You had some machines up there broke down, bicycle machine broke down, probably out of warranty. So the equipment that's still working, can we sell that? Is that salvageable, that, the stuff that's still working to, forego the cost of the new equipment? Okay, that's good. Thank you. And that is for the kids, and it is well used. I've been up there. Also on the metal detectors. The last I know, there's 2 still in a box at the CTC. So if they're not using them, maybe we can get a couple brand new, still in the box metal detectors from the, up in the hill.
As a superintendent of record, I can tell you that those machines there are plans that those will be used in the near future.
They've been there for a while. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, just to update with the metal detectors, those all will be purchased out of grant funds. We did receive a grant to purchase the 8 metal detectors for the elementary schools.
Item K, Why is the city rejecting those 4 bids?
Go ahead, Susan.
City has established a policy that they need to have a homeowner that's in the area to maintain the property. So if the depository bidders are out of the area, the city's rejecting them because this property will continue to stay in disrepair.
But what if somebody wants to buy the property and build a house on it?
They want to buy it. Well, they need to, the bidders, my understanding is that they have to provide a plan to the city. And if they can't provide that plan or give them documentation that they're going to maintain the property until they would build on them, then the city rejects the bids. It will continue to be a blighted property.
So it's just up to the city's discretion of who they want to give these to and who they don't?
No, what the city has, there has been issues in the past where people from out of state have bought properties and they've either rented them out as slums
Mhm.
or they just let them continue to degenerate and fall apart, making them unsafe, making them hazardous to the kids in the neighborhood and making them fire traps. So the city decided and passed a resolution that they will only sell the properties out of the repository to reputable purchasers who live or will be using the property in a way that will be conducive to the city's plan to rejuvenate those properties and move it forward. The reality is if someone buys property for $100 or $1,500 or whatever they offer, that's the value. It's not generating taxes to the city. And if they allow it to turn into a just continue to deteriorate, it just creates an unsafe condition. It makes things worse. The purpose of the repository is to find a way to rejuvenate these properties, whether it be someone tearing it down to create a bigger yard, or it be someone actually rebuilding it or building a new structure on that site. And the best way to guarantee that is not to have an absentee landlord from out of state.
Okay.
These will all go into the plan, which then the city will find.
Developer.
So they're not just gonna go away, they will be then maybe next month, sold to the developer. But not every developer is on documents. So that's what. I actually bought one of these several years ago from someone that bought it for 5 years, almost thinking I had $50,000 for the house that was basically falling apart. So because the person who bought it paid $500 for a house that they could never afford. So from that point, we've moved forward as a city to create this land bank, so that doesn't happen. So it's actually good to sit on that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's being treated fair, you know, that if somebody does want to buy something, fix it up, that they have the opportunity to do that.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely do, but they have to have the finances approved.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, under new business, I suggest we do A and C and then we react on B separately. Okay, do we have a motion on A, August board meeting date change, and C, the health and safety plan for a 6-month review and update? Do we have a motion on those 2 items? Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, B is the 23-24 AASD proposed final general fund budget. Do we have a motion on that item? Is there a second? Discussion? I would just like to say, been involved with this school district for many, many years. And I know we went for years without tax increases, but can honestly say things have changed. For one, all throughout this year at our committee of the whole meetings, we reviewed information. And that information was looking at our financial data. And we did a lot of comparisons. We saw a lot of comparisons. We saw that Altoona School District is one of the lower taxing school districts in the state. If you don't believe it, it's all on the BDE website. We also have one of the lower instructional costs for students in the state. 481 out of 500. We looked at all kinds of information. We operate in a very lean manner, cutting our budget to be quite honest, the major portion of the budget goes to personnel cost. So cutting the budget means cutting personnel, which means higher class size, perhaps cutting some electives, perhaps doing away with programs altogether. My wife and I had 6 children. All of them graduated from Altoona High School. All are quite successful. And I can honestly attribute a large portion of their success to their attending the school district. You get a great education for the dollars you spend. There is a tax increase in this budget. It's a percentage of the millage rate that we currently have, right, Camilla? So our millage rate is what? It's 6.3, 6.4, which means for every $1,000 your house is assessed or property assessed, you pay $6.40. So the increase in this budget is at what? 5.9. So that's 5.9 of times 6.4 times 5.9%. So it would raise that millage rate to what? 6.8. So for every $1,000 your house is assessed, you would pay $6.80. Nobody likes to pay higher taxes, but in 2 years, the COVID money goes away. The state sets the rate at which school districts can tax. They call it an index. And that is to go above that, you have to go to a voter referendum. So you can either tax at that index or go below it. If we don't tax and raise whatever revenues we have, when that COVID money goes away, it just makes a tremendous big hole for the district to cover. And when reserves run out, you end up going into a receivership. The state comes in, takes over. So yeah, I don't have children in school. I have grandchildren in school. I don't like to pay taxes, but I know it's going for something good. And we do have a very good educational program in this school district. Any other discussion? That was my little.
I just wanted to clarify that we're not actually voting on, we're just voting to have it viewed for the month, and then we vote on the budget
The
next
final
month.
budget next month.
Okay.
But it has to go through this first step.
Do we have any idea when the state's going to make their decision? It probably won't happen before we have to vote on this, right?
The most recent legislative update I saw said there are 2 key swing votes that will happen tomorrow. And if the seats swing the other way, they expect the budget will be delayed even further. So June, it's by law, they're supposed to have it passed by June 30th. We've had several years that it went beyond that.
So again, 2 state legislators, we're going to have to likely make a decision without knowing what our allocation will be, right? So that's what you're subjected to here. And it's crazy. Thanks.
If I can. No one likes to or wants to raise taxes. The reality is we've put programs in place such as intervention programs in reading and mathematics across the district, which have successfully closed a lot of gaps. When you talk about low-income families, we see a very wide diversity of preparedness in our kindergarten population. That intervention program closes those gaps and gets those kids, the vast majority of our kids, to level by first grade. And in turn, as they move through, we can keep them at level and we can provide them the necessary supports they need. It is a documented fact that if a child reads on level, by third grade, their options and their successes are almost guaranteed in school and in their future lives. It's all about understanding our role is to give these kids the opportunity to excel. Our budget is 481st in the state. Our special ed costs, providing for autistic support, for emotional support, for learning support, for multiple disabilities, for life skills. Our costs are some of the lowest in the state, but they're some of the lowest in the state because of a very, very smart woman over there and a whole bunch of other people who have their acts together, because we run probably every single in-house program we possibly can to save taxpayers money and to deliver the finest possible supports we can do in-house. It's huge, the undertaking we have in place to both deliver the best instruction, the best learning opportunities, and the best potential development of our children's talents, along with cost efficiencies, ensuring that we are doing it for the maximum savings to the taxpayer. Every classroom, autistic classroom, it's capped at 8 students by law. A lot of school districts will take those kids and they'll ship them out. Well, to ship them out is a minimum of $50,000 a student. And there's no guarantee once they leave our district on that bus, the quality of the education they're going to receive. In-house, it's a teacher, it's an aide. We can do it for about 150 to 200,000. Well, that's a 50% savings. At the same time, we're accountable for every aspect of those children's education, from the development of from the testing and the evaluations of their specific needs, through the development of the IEP, through the delivery of instruction across all the phases. And I will say this, those children have many more opportunities because they're in our buildings and being taught by our teachers, because if there's an opportunity for them to be in the classroom with their peers, that inclusion practice is done. We make sure those things happen. If we ship them off, to somebody else, that can't happen because they won't have those accesses. But at the same time, we have to develop all the protocols. We are totally responsible to ensure the quality of what goes on in those classrooms. And yes, we're saving significant dollars. Our costs for special ed, if you look at it and you compare it to other districts, you're going to find that we're in the bottom 10% of the state. But we shouldn't be, because we have 25% special ed population, which needs to receive specific services to ensure their success in their future lives. No one wants to raise taxes. But the reality is, if we don't continue to fund these core services that we're providing for your children, it's going to hurt their futures. It's going to hurt the future of Altoona as a community, as an ability to draw business. No one likes to do it, but sometimes you have to invest more money in ensuring your children's futures.
What you're saying would be great.
Wait,
but
excuse
your
me.
highest tolerance-
Okay, you're out of order. You're out of order, ma'am.
Ma'am, you're out of order. Sorry.
Okay, that's good because you would have left.
You know, if I may, last week at our budget meeting, we had some ideas on saving money, raising money, and a possible solution was naming some of our facilities, perhaps a baseball field, softball field, tennis courts. Last month, we had some distinguished alumni in-house, and perhaps a phone call or a letter, text, name a facility after them, saying 5 years, a few $1,000, an art room, a shop, you know, I mean, it's not going to be easy, you know, I mean, just you have nothing to lose and something to gain. That's going to help out.
Okay, so.
It's
tonight
just a
we have
suggestion to
vote on
help
this
out.
Proposed budget. It will be available for 30-day period. At the June meeting, we do the vote on it. Okay, and tonight we have to approve this proposed general fund budget. Any other discussion? Let's do a roll call vote.
Dr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Francis, Mr. Hoff,
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Irwin Adams, Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Mignon,
Yes.
Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay,
9-0.
thank you. Okay, now we'll go to committee reports. Any committee chair reports? Board president's report, just that there have been a lot of activities that we all have been attending this month and more to come. I know tomorrow night's the academic awards banquet and Friday is the special ed recognition. Okay, and of course, graduation is coming up. So lots of things at the end of the school year. Some of you pointed out tomorrow is election day, very important day in our country and our state. And I think, you know, I've been around this business for a long time. I sort of find it amusing. I do get emails threatening to take away my school board members' pay if I do certain things or approve certain things. So take it away because 100% of zeros, still zero. So all of us do this as volunteers. And we do it for the best interests of our community and to help kids because we like kids. And we want to make sure they get the best education that this community can give them. Okay, superintendent's report.
I'd like to thank the board. Earlier this evening, you made the decision to hire Brad Hatch. What Brad Hatch brings to us, certain things I could never bring. A knowledge of the community, a sense of the history and the pride of the district, and also a distinct, specific day-to-day knowledge of everything that's happening in the district, whether it be parental, student, sport, physical plant. He has been involved in every piece. When you talk about curriculum, he understands what's going on. He works directly with everyone involved, with Haley, with myself, with the teachers in the district. That act of giving us continuity is huge. When I was hired, I was the 7th superintendent or acting superintendent to work for this district in 3 years. Having all of those different people involved led to a lot of uncertainty, a lot of confusion, and a lot of problems. A lot of which we spent first 2 or 3 years just digging out of. I commend the board. I understand the quality of the superintendents are out there, and some people like what I do and some people don't like what I do, and that's fair. I've always put the kids of this district first. My number one driver is what is in the best interest of the children of Altoona. All decisions are made through that lens. I believe that the school board is very passionate and very supportive of the exact same thing. What is in the best interest of the children of this district? And in turn, the community we serve, businesses who hire us and help us to be able to make this economy work, the community government that provides all essential services, all of us work together to build Altoona. It's huge. We are in a situation right now. We just had lunch with a couple of business leaders and the mayor. Altoona is on the brink of a phenomenal level of success. There are opportunities that are going to come into fruition in the next 2 or 3 years, which could put us on a pace of regrowth and rebirth that the city's never seen. Well, not in the last 50 years. And by having Brad as the superintendent, I believe that you've made a firm decision that we want to continue to move the district forward and make children and their education in our community and its well-being the priority. And to that, I commend all of you. Thank you.
Okay, Caitlin.
Good evening. I would like to take a moment to mention some current and upcoming events here in the Altoona Area School District. I would also like to extend my congratulations to each and every one of you recognized at the meeting this evening. You all have done an outstanding job. This past week, the high school hosted the K-12 Spring Art Show. Sponsored by the AASD Foundation, it featured drawings, paintings, ceramics, jewelry, and sculptures, all crafted by students. This week, Keystone testing will take place, as well as the Juniata Elementary Drama Club performance of Annie Jr. It will take place on May 16th, 17th, and 18th in the elementary school gymnasium. Also in the artistic world will be the AAHS band concert on Thursday, May 18th, and the Advanced Theater Spring Showcase on May 22nd. Next week will be a big one for seniors, with the AAHS Mountain Echo hosting Senior Week. There'll be new themes each day with various activities, including games day, yearbook distribution, parking spot decorating, senior walk, senior tailgate, and senior sunrise. Tickets will be sold this week during lunches for $10. Through the remainder of the month, kindergarten registration will be open to ensure attendance at your child's home boundary school. Registration can be done online or through a hard copy packet. The Creative Kids Education Center is offering before and after school care for district elementary students in the elementary school buildings. Registration for the 2023-2024 school year is now open. Also, district students entering grades 5, 6, or 7 this fall can register for the cross-country summer clinic. It will take place on June 6th, 7th, and 8th from 6:30 to 8 at Logan Elementary. Cost is $10 per athlete. Lastly, I would like to thank all students and everyone in the district for their ongoing efforts in this final stretch of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Great job as student health. Thank you. Okay, now we have for information only, the Facilities Committee meeting summary, Technology Committee summary, Technology Department intern. Bryce, okay. Zachary, what's his name? Zachary McKee, okay. Okay, other comments, employee unions response, none. Middle management response, solicitor.
We have no report this evening, but we'll echo the congratulations to Mr. Hatch for the election as superintendent, and the thanks to our student representative this year that you did a great job. Thank you.
There are no other items on the agenda. Do we have a motion for?
Excuse me, Mr. President. I'd like to thank the high school, Andy, your art class. I'm on the Prospect Pool Committee. Thanks, Dave, up there painting last week. It was a nice hot day, did a lot of painting. We're trying to get it up and running, but we wanted a new logo. So we got the art classes and they come up with about 24 different logos for Prospect. And we picked one, and there's going to be a prize, and we're going to have a little prize for all those that entered. So it's going to be a surprise. So your art class is going to go up Friday and start painting the front with the new logo, and on Monday. So thank you for, the school district doing it. Thank you, Andy, and your art class, and walk around, look at some art in here. I really like the penciled one with the sports car. It's a lot of detail there, but yeah, there's some good ones here. So once again, thanks to the district for helping us out. And also there's going to be tuna cleanup going up Prospect, going to help clean up someday in the near future. So.
Okay. We have a motion for adjournment. Second?
Second.
Favor? Aye.